the old Ceylon Jamiatul Ulama has followed, engaging the government and informing them that this is not acceptable according to Islamic teachings, and the sanctity of life is that obviously for both the living and the dead must be one that we must be able to respect, and the government has not given any form of credit to this particular engagement from the Muslim authorities in Sri Lanka. Hence, it is left in a situation where in the Sri Lankan Muslim community and others, they are in totally anger, as I picked up on one of the reports yesterday. And obviously, you have made references to the 20-day-old child, baby, that was cremated, and it has been posted across the globe in terms of not even having a consideration for this particular infant, the 20-day-old baby.
Yes. Now, Moulana, there is obviously there has been a few problems in Sri Lanka over a period of time. And we've seen even in 2019, there were anti-Muslim riots that had taken place in Sri Lanka. And there are many that obviously are now starting to reach a conclusion that, there are extremists operating within Sri Lanka and Muslims being minorities, being the target. And this is possibly one of the reasons as to why the Sri Lankan government is not backing off or refusing to engage, like you mentioned, with bodies like the ulama body in Sri Lanka with regards to this particular matter.
So I was looking and reading some of the particular articles, and
Moulana, we've just lost you slightly. I don't know if you want to move around a bit. We are losing you slightly.
Hello?
Yes, okay, that's much better. Sorry, Moulana. We just lost you there for a second or two.
Sorry for that. I was saying that I was reading up on this particular matter, and it is very clear that reporters do say that it has got nothing to do with science or with health. It has got all to do with the political situation there and with the marginalization of the 10% Muslim community. And hence, the situation is one where the Muslim community in Sri Lanka is standing up to say, please, this is a violation of our freedom of religious rights. It is a violation of human rights of ours. And it is totally contrary to the World Health Organization's the directives in terms of the right for a person to be buried according to his religious rights when he dies because of COVID, or even in that matter if it is not determined the cause of death. And so the reality is that the Sri Lankan Muslim community feels marginalized. They feel that they are being placed in a very difficult situation. And therefore, our support is lent to the Sri Lankan Muslim community as well here from South Africa. And we believe it is also from other parts of the world where people are raising their voices in this particular matter.
Exactly, because I think what has happened is, it's come to this head now when we're talking about cremations, and for far too long, we've seen a number of anti-Muslim movements springing up. We've seen attacks on religious places of worship in Sri Lanka. We see anti-halal movements where there is opposition now to even consume halal foods. There's been opposition to animal slaughtering. So basically, the Muslim way of life or the lifestyle of a Muslim is coming under scrutiny and coming under some form of attack.
Yes, and you're just reiterating that particular point. And therefore, the Sri Lankan Muslim community is an active community. They are in our own interaction with the leadership of the ulama fraternity. You see, they are contributing to the development of the society. They are active citizens, and despite all of that, Yet we find ourselves in a situation where we witness them being marginalized. It gives them the right, obviously, to say that they need to stand for their rights and for their religious freedom. But as a Muslim community in South Africa, it is equally our responsibility to say, so how can we be of help? What do we do in terms of solidarity? Our starting point is obviously to say, let us engage our government in specifically this particular matter and be able to say to the government that, please, we are seeking your intervention. This is at this particular point where we have raised this particular matter, and we are hoping Allah and we have faith and conviction that our government will respond by engaging the Sri Lankan authorities to say that the Muslim community feels strongly offended by what is currently happening in Sri Lanka.
Yes, and I think just on the plus side, Moulana, in terms of engaging with the government, and we know that we've generally in South Africa, we have got a good relationship with our government when it comes to these matters and when it comes to raising these issues, but more importantly, in terms of escalating these issues to another level and also possibly through diplomatic channels.
Correct. And we are, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, we must treasure our relationship with NGOs, with faith-based organizations, with government and government departments and government officials. We are South Africans, and it is important that we must be able to follow the proper channels and proper approaches to these particular matters. What are the procedures that we should be able to engage with? And therefore, one of the strategic engagements and approaches is precisely to see how the government can be able to engage on a diplomatic level in this particular matter. And, when you speak about our relationship with our government, it is our duty and responsibility to maintain the best of relationship with our government and the officials. And it affords us the opportunity to engage, even with regard to our own rights as Muslims in our country. And I believe that as good citizens, it gives us the privilege, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, to have these type of interactions when so required.
Well, Moulana, Jazakallah for that and for your time with us this morning. We wish you all the best, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Moulana Abdul Khaliq Allie, first Deputy President of the MJC, making submissions, and this comes against the government policy in Sri Lanka of mandating cremations for coronavirus victims. Now, this has clearly angered, it has frightened many, many Muslims, and Muslims are now fearful of being even hospitalized because they could be forcibly cremated. And tomorrow, we've got, on this particular topic, we've got somebody out of Sri Lanka who has got family in Sri Lanka, who knows the agenda behind this. And at this point in time, we see pro-government media giving attention to infections in Muslim neighborhoods in Sri Lanka. Social media is abuzz, online news sources full of disinformation, blaming Muslims for deliberately spreading the disease. And this is why Sri Lanka's Muslim minority community is increasingly feeling under siege at this point in time.
They say breakfast is the most important